As always, first we are going to start with a slip knot. This is how I make the slip knot. If you want more step-by-step tutorial on making the slip knot, I will link a tutorial somewhere in the screen and the link in the description. After making the slip knot, we are going to make 5 chains. Now into the second chain from the hook, you are going to place 1 single crochet. For that, insert the hook, pull up a loop, you got 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Into the next, place a single crochet. Into the next stitch, again place a single crochet. And now you are at the first chain. So into this you are going to place 3 single crochets. So that is my first single crochet, and I'm going to place 2 more single crochets into that very first chain. Next, I'm going to place a single crochet. I hope you can see we are now at the other side of the chain. So I'm going to insert the hook here, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through. So into the next, again a single crochet, and into the next, again a single crochet. And here into this part, like you can see into this, I am going to place 2 more single crochets. That means I'm doing an increase there. I'm going to call this the first row. So by the end of this row, you should have 11 stitches. You can count and check whether you have 11 stitches. Now I'm going to start our row number 2. Once you successfully place a single crochet, you can see like a V shape formed. So that is a stitch. As you can see, I am placing a single crochet into the very first stitch, and into the same I'm going to place 1 more single crochet. So that means I've done an increase. When you place 2 single crochets into the same stitch, it is called as an increase. So what I just did was an increase. Next, into the next stitch, the second stitch, you are going to place a single crochet. Into the third, again a single crochet, and into the fourth, again a single crochet. Into the next 2 stitches, you are going to do increases. I'm placing 2 single crochets into the next, that is 1, and into the next 2 single crochets. That means I'm doing an increase. Into the next 3 stitches, you are going to place single crochets each. And now I'm almost at the end of row 2. So here I'm doing another increase. And into the next stitch, just a single crochet. By the end of this row, if you count around, you should have 15 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Oh, and it's always very good to use a stitch marker because you will get confused if not. I'm starting row number 4 now. So into the first stitch, you are going to place a single crochet, and into the second, we are going to do a stitch called the bubble stitch. I'll show you how to do it. First, you are going to yarn over, insert the hook into the second stitch and pull up a loop. You got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops only. Now you got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert the hook into the same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops only. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert the hook into the same stitch, Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. You have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert the hook into the same second stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Now altogether you have 5 loops on your hook. You're going to stop when you have 5 and you're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. We were just working onto the second stitch. Now into the next stitch, the third stitch, you are going to place a single crochet. Stitch we just did is called the bubble stitch, and you can push it out if it like curves inside. After placing the single crochet into the third stitch, next into the fourth you're going to place another single crochet, and into the next again another single crochet. Now again we are going to do a bubble stitch into the next stitch. So you can see the steps here. You are going to yarn over, pull up a loop and pull through 2 each time until you end up with 5 loops on your hook. Now I have 4, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and now I have 5. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through all those 5 loops. After that, into the next place a single crochet, and into the next 2 again a single crochet. Now we are at the third leg, so another bubble stitch. This pattern is a no-sew because I'm using the bubble stitch to form the arms and the legs, basically the 4 legs of the little dino. Single crochet into the next, single crochet into the next, and one more single crochet. After that again you are going to do the bubble, which is going to be our 4th leg. That's my final bubble, and into the final stitch I'm going to place a single crochet. By the end of this row you will still be having 15 stitches. We didn't do any change to the stitch count, so by the end of the row you should have 15 stitches. I'm gonna count. So this is my first stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. This one is 15, so I have 15 stitches, and this is how your work should look like. For the next row we are going to do an increasing row, so you're going to place 2 single crochets and increase. Into the first, place a single crochet. Into the second stitch, this is the second stitch, place a single crochet. Into the third stitch you are going to do an increase, so into the third, place 2 single crochets. One, and 2. Into the next, single crochet. Into the next, a single crochet. and into the next and increase. You can see that we are repeating a pattern. You are making 2 single crochets and increase. So 2 single crochet increase until you reach the end. So that means you will be having to do this for 5 times. You should have 20 stitches by the end of this row. Continue this and I will meet you guys at the end of this row. I just finished the row and this is how your work should look like. We have the 4 legs and the bottom part, and we are building up the body. So we are working from bottom to top. For the next round, place 1 single crochet into the first stitch, place another single crochet into the second, into the third, again a single crochet. Into the fourth, you are going to do an increase. So you are going to make 3 single crochets and then increase. Repeat this pattern 3 single crochet increase for 5 times, and by the end of the row you should be having 25 stitches. I'll meet you guys at the end. I finished that round and let's count to make sure we have 25 stitches. For our next round, we are just going to place single crochets around. Into the first, place single crochet, into the second a single crochet. Likewise, you are going to place single crochets into each of those stitches. So you'll be having 25 at the end. Continue this and I'll meet you guys by the end of this row. I'm placing my final single crochets of that row. This is how our work should look like now. You can see that the body is forming slowly. For the next round, we are going to make 10 single crochets. So into the first, place a single crochet, into the second, a single crochet, to the third, a single crochet. You are going to place 10 like that. Oh, and these 2 are the front legs and these 2 are the back legs. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Into the next 2, you are going to send your hook through the front loops. You are going to go through both, just as shown in the video, like this, and then you are going to pull up a loop through those 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Next a single crochet and next again do a decrease. Go through the front loops, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Next, you are going to keep on making single crochets until you reach the end. So you will be doing 10 single crochets. By the end of this row, you should be having 23 stitches. We did 2 decreases, so the stitch count, which was 25, will be decreased by 2, and by the end of this row, you'll be having 23 stitches. And this is how your project should look like right now, like a little cup with 4 legs. Let's move on to the next round. So for this round, you are going to make 4 single crochets. Place 1 single crochet into the first, 2, 3, 4, and mark your first stitch, don't forget that. Into the next 2, go through the front loops and make an invisible decrease. Go through the front loops of the next 2, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through. For the next 3 stitches, you are going to place single crochet in each. 1, 2, and 3. Now for the next 2 stitches, you are going to do a decrease. Into the next, place a single crochet. Into the next 2, place a decrease. Place single crochets into the next 3 stitches and do a decrease into the next 2. Place single crochets into the last 4 stitches. You should be left with 19 stitches by the end of this row. You can count and make sure you have 19 stitches. For the next row, you are going to place single crochets into the first 5 stitches. So this is the second one, third single crochet, fourth single crochet, and yeah, I'm gonna mark my first stitch first and continue, fifth single crochet, and next you are going to do 2 decreases. So go into the front loops of the next 2, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, again into the next 2, go through the front loops and make a decrease. After that, place 1 single crochet. Again, you are going to do 2 decreases. That is 1 decrease and my second decrease. Now you are going to place single crochets into the remaining 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we are at the end of the row, and now you should be left with 15 stitches. You can also start stuffing the stuffy with polyfill or scrap yarn or whatever you have. I'm using polyfill here. You're going to stuff as much as you want, like until you are satisfied. And now let's continue. Before that, let's count. This is the first stitch. This is the second, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. At this point, you should have 15 stitches. For our next row, we are going to place single crochets into the first 4 stitches. Into the next 2, 5th and 6th, you are going to do a decrease. For the next 3 stitches, just place single crochets, 2 and 3. Into the next 2, place a decrease, and into the last 4 stitches, you're going to just place single crochets. By the end of this row, you should have 13 stitches. We did 2 decreases, so the previous row we had 15. After 2 decreases, this row we should have 13. For the next row, into the first 3 stitches, you are just going to place single crochets. And next you are going to do 3 decreases. So let me mark the first stitch. into the next 2 stitches, you are going to do a decrease. Again, into the next 2 stitches, you are going to do a decrease. And one more time, you are going to do a decrease. After that, for the remaining stitches, remaining 4 stitches, you're just going to place single crochets. By the end of this row, you should be left with 10 single crochets, 10 stitches. This is how your dino should look like now, and you can also fill it in with polyfill as you go, just like what I'm doing here, because once we make the neck, it will be very hard for us to fill it in. As you go your rounds, crochet your rounds, it's wise to fill your stuffing in. And for the next 4 rounds, we are just going to place single crochets around. Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 stitches as the total stitch count, and we are going to continue working for 4 more rounds of just single crochets, and I'll meet you guys at the end of the 4th round of just placing single crochets. That is going to be the neck of our dino. While you work your rounds, also don't forget to stuff the neck in with some polyfill. I just completed 4 rounds, and what I'm doing here is I'm going to place one more single crochet into that very last stitch that I did. So for that round, the total stitch count would be 11. Now for the next round, place 2 single crochet into the first stitch and 2 single crochet into the second stitch. After that, you are going to place 9 single crochets. So let me mark my first stitch. And start placing single crochets until you reach the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. The total stitch count now would be 13. You can count to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. For the next row, we are going to do an increase into the first stitch. So place 2 single crochets into the first and mark your first stitch, don't forget that. After that, until you reach the end of the row, just keep on placing single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. And the total stitch count now should be 14. Let's move on to the next round. Into the first stitch, place a single crochet. Into the next, you are going to do an increase, so place 2 single crochets into the next stitch. Don't forget to mark your first stitch. Next, you are going to keep on placing single crochets until you reach the end of this row. So you will be placing 12 single crochets. By the end of this row, the total stitch count should be 15. Okay guys, so I just finished that row and now you can fill it in with some stuffing. We are almost at the end of making our little dino, so for the next round you are going to place single crochet into the first 3 stitches. So into the first, 1 single crochet, into the next, 1 single crochet, into the third, 1 single crochet, and then you are going to do a decrease. So you are going to go through the front loops of the 4th and 5th stitches, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Again you are going to do 3 single crochet and then decrease. You are going to repeat this until you reach the end of this row, and you will be having 12 as the total stitch count. For the next round, you are going to do 2 single crochets and then decrease. So into the first, you're going to do a single crochet, into the second, again a single crochet, and into the third and fourth stitches, you're going to do a decrease. And you'll be having 9 stitches around. And also don't forget to fill it in with polyfill. I am doing the last decrease of that round, and if you count around you should be having 9 stitches. Oh guys, we are at our final round. So into the first you are going to place a single crochet, into the second and third stitches you are going to do a decrease. So single crochet, decrease around, and you will be left with only 6 stitches. That is our final row of the dino. So if you want, make sure to fill more stuffing, and if you're happy with that, we have to close this opening. I am going to leave enough tail to sew the opening close. After that, I'm gonna cut it off and finish the work. With the help of a darning needle, I am going to go through the front loops of the last 6 stitches like this, and then I'm going to pull the yarn end to close the opening. And the opening will get closed. After that, to finish off, I'm just going to send the yarn through the project. To place the eyes, I'm going to count about 3 to 4 rows from the top, and using the B6000 glue, I'm going to glue the eyes onto Dino's face. And repeat the same thing to the other side. This is how your Dino should look like now. It is basically complete. I just wanted to make a little heart for Dino. You can totally skip this part, you don't have to make the heart, but in case you want to, here's the pattern. For this, I'm going to use a milk cotton yarn, 4-ply milk cotton yarn with a 3.5mm hook, and in the color light purple, similar to the Dino's body color. Start with a slip knot and make 3 chains, 2, 3, and you're going to yarn over twice like this. So we are going to do a treble crochet. You're going to yarn over twice, and into the very first chain you're going to insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over again, pull through 2, and yarn over again, pull through 2. Into that very first stitch, you are going to place a double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Next, a half double crochet into the same, yarn over, insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Next, you are going to do a single crochet, just insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. We are doing all these stitches into that very first chain. Now you are going to just make a chain like this. After you chain 1, you are going to place a double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then again you are going to chain 1, and again into the same stitch you are going to place a single crochet. Next, you are going to place a half double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3. A double crochet, and finally, not finally, the stitch before final, you are going to place a treble crochet, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again, and yarn over, pull through 2, and finally you are going to make 3 chains, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to stop my work and leave enough tail to sew the heart, and I'm going to cut the yarn, and without pulling it all the way out, I am going to place a slip stitch right into the center like this, insert the hook, pull up a loop and pull it all the way through. So that is a slip stitch, and then I'm going to finish the work. And now you have yourself a little heart for the Dino. Next, I am going to sew this onto Dino's body with the help of a darning needle. Just place it anywhere you like. I'm gonna place it right above the back leg of the Dino, and this is how I'm going to attach it. I'm just going to go through the body and the heart alternatively and make sure that the heart just doesn't fall off. I finished attaching the heart, and I'm just placing a few knots so that I want to make sure this won't undo. And our Dino is complete. Here's the final look. He's so cute, little and chunky at the same time. Here's Pikachu, my previous tutorial. Don't forget to check it out too. I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions regarding the pattern, please comment down below, and don't forget to check out the written pattern on my coffee shop. If you do make a little dino, don't forget to share it with me on Instagram at PiKi PiKi Crafts. See you guys in my next tutorial. Bye!